I heard you mention rugby earlier. I just want to kind of go back to that because it caught me off guard because I don't know too many people that play rugby, especially not from Memphis.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into the rugby, or what was that about? Was that even in Memphis, or was you playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in Memphis, man. So rugby's it's a weird sport because rugby was the original football.
Yeah.
And before football, like it was a different ball game, and rugby's so fast paced. And when people actually learn what it is they're watching, because in rugby, there's no stop and start to play. You're constantly going. So, and then also too, another thing that a lot of people don't know is like whoever has the ball, you don't have blockers.
Yeah.
So it's you against 15 other guys, and there's 15 on 15, so it's 30 guys on the field. The field is a little bit bigger; it's the size of a soccer field, but so when you run the ball, you have no blockers, and you just have support. So the ball is always being tossed backwards to move forward.
Gotcha.
And it was but I got into rugby because I was playing football my junior year, and a couple of the guys that they were super super cool guys that like a couple, just to name a few, like Wade Williams, Michael Maxey, some of those guys that I we grew up together, and we all through high school, and they were just like, man, why don't you come out and play rugby? I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it. Excuse me. I'm like, nah, man, I don't think I want to play rugby. Because looking at it, I'm like, y'all don't have pads.
Yeah.
So you getting hit. And they were like, no, it's different. It's totally different. It's a little different. Like, just come out, try it out. So I went to my first trial, and, man, I got torched. Because I'm out there trying to play running back. Because, originally in football, I was a running back. So
yeah, I'm
out there trying to juke and do this and do that. And you learn that you have to learn that you got to be more efficient because you can't waste movement in rugby. Everything is straight ahead. You run the ball straight. You get the ball out backwards. You run the ball straight. Like, it's none of the juke and jive. And you have to be way more disciplined in rugby because the way that you tackle, because neither you or the runner have pads on. So you have to tackle the right way. You have to run the ball the right way. You have to be more protective. So rugby it's actually a growing sport. It's really, really growing as far as like rugby 15s and rugby 7s, which is another version of rugby. It's a more fast-paced version of rugby. It's like 7-on-7 instead of 15-on-15, and it's just nonstop go. It's nonstop go. It's really, really fast-paced, but it's a growing sport. Like you have the Memphis Grizzlies rugby, the Memphis Blues, just to name a few teams. But it's growing fast, man. It's growing really, really fast, and it's actually an Olympic sport. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, I just seen that. That was recently one they just added that recently.
Yeah, just this past year, man. It was the first year. It was the first year that it was announced in the Olympics, and it was a sevens version, which is amazing because it's more fast paced. It'll bring fans, and when you see like a lot of how fast those guys are, it's crazy. So it's a lot of those guys, man. There's some real athletes out there, and internationally, you'll see some guys that you never thought you would see. So. Yeah,
no, I believe it because some team in the NFL just drafted somebody or picked up somebody that was playing rugby. I forgot what team he played for.
49ers, man. I'm a Niners fan. Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that what y'all saying? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like dude was a beast. I don't know. You know his name by chance?
I can't remember his name, but I know we got I know we ended up getting quite a few players. We got one guy that was a linebacker and another guy I think it was a fullback. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Quite a few of those guys are coming over and they're making some noise. We actually the NFL has actually gotten a few linemen from because those guys, and that's another thing in rugby, like the linemen, the bigger guys, they're athletic and they can run. So when they kind of bring those athletes over to the NFL, they can kind of change the dynamic of football. So
yeah, for sure, because that's what I was saying. Because I was just looking at like old rugby films from that from the one guy. So yeah, he was a beast for sure, and he was fast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Those guys can move.
Dig that. That's what's up. So yeah, appreciate that. Because I wasn't hip to the rugby scene because I don't see it here in Nashville. It's probably played like mostly on college campus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it, like big like high school type of environments, I'm not really seeing it. I guess in the public school type of environment.
Well, rugby is considered a club sport,
Gotcha.
So like a lot of schools don't have it.
Okay.
And so what Germantown did, because I went to Germantown, I graduated from Germantown High School. What they did was it was a part of like the clubs, one of the clubs that they offered. And over time, they started getting more funding because when people started to realize, they started showing up to the games and they realized like, hey, this can really draw a crowd. This could be something that, outside of football season, because you got football, then you got basketball, and then, rugby runs right into the spring and the summer. So it's kind of like, hey, we can kind of fill that void. And so that's when it started to pick up because, here in the U.S., we we love contact sports, man. We love it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
We love it, man. So